Hey everybody, before the official start of this particular Tech Tuesday on September 20th, a big shout out, a big happy birthday to my twin boys, Jacob and Ryan. They're 20 today. Oh my gosh, happy birthday boys, Dad loves you.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, happy birthday.
Guys, good to see you. Yes, it is Tuesday.
Must be. You're
Yes.
here.
You miss a day or two from doing constant uploads. We bring you a lot of content. And then when you take a couple of days off, and we missed you on Sunday, I apologize for that. I was just tired in more ways than one. But you miss a couple of days and then you jump back in front of the camera and it feels kind of weird.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels good. We love talking to you guys. Thank you for joining us for Tech Tuesday. We had our annual car show on Saturday. I didn't see you here.
Nope.
I know, but you were at the company golf outing on Sunday.
Yeah.
Look at the show t-shirts from this year. Those are pretty cool. You guys know that's the best free car show anywhere here in Ohio. We had 100 trophies. We had free t-shirts, free food. It was a beautiful day. Really was. We didn't vlog any of that stuff for you guys. I was busy with a couple other situations, but really was nice to see a lot of you at our annual event. Thank you so much for joining us. We've talked about in recent videos, I think you've seen it, you and I talk behind the scenes and how parts issues for servicing a vehicle. Oh, that's funny, huh? And
Building or servicing.
Trying to order a vehicle. I ordered something a year and a half ago and I just got it. Look how freaking sweet. This is, 2 Indy 500s ago. And if you could see really close up there, look at, I like this idea of some vents up there. How about that? Some extra vents. On top of the nacelles. Is that something coming in the future for us? I don't know. It looked really cool though. You guys know what a huge Indy 500 pace car fan that I am for Corvette. That was really sweet. I had to share that with you.
Oh yeah, it's nice.
The doors don't open and that kind of stuff, but it's got the high wing, but the detail is impeccable.
Look, if you wanted the doors to open, you'd have to wait 2.5 years. I'm just saying. We didn't have the hinges, so.
2.5 years. Well, in this Tech Tuesday, it looks like that I'm here with you guys, but Chucky, you know that I'm not here because I got this. That's right. I got a little track wrap ready to go. Where am I going to be?
Yeah, Pennsylvania.
Pit race. I've been talking about that for a long time. In fact, we've got a couple questions relative to tracking and that kind of stuff. And I don't know what it is about that track. I've had to cancel several times. I was sick, weather schedule. We're going. It's going to be sunny, 86 degrees. I'll give you some highlights as soon as we get back. Ryan and I are both driving. Challenging course, but that's what this car, I love driving this car. How many times I get back from an event and I just talk to you for an hour.
Oh, sure.
You really appreciate the design, the technology in the car, and that's what I'm going to feel on Tuesday. So stay tuned to this channel. I'll give you some highlights, and hoping to be safe. A little nervous. There's some serious situations, but this is going to cover up some areas that I have covered already, and then we'll share some of that with you in that vlog, and some areas that I should have covered and I didn't. So track wrap is going to be outstanding. So Tech Tuesday, we read your emails, your questions, concerns, and try to help you guys any way we can. You want to start, my friend?
I sure can. All right. This one comes from Harold. It says, Chuck, like Rick, I have a 21 HTC. Have there been any issues, TSBs, etc., regarding the many mechanisms into HTC? In all of them that we've delivered, I've only seen 2 issues. One was the nacelle. The cable broke and kind of messed up the nacelle. The other one, the tonneau cover got out of timing, and I had to retime that. But,
oh my gosh, I forgot all about that one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
that was a little tricky, but that's really the only issues I've really seen with them.
Here's one from Bruno. Hey guys, I love the content, especially on Tech Tuesday. Thanks Bruno for watching the channel, appreciate that. He goes, there seems to be confusion when checking the oil level on a C8 on the dipstick. I'd like to see some of the different level designations. Could you demo that for me? Show me where the oil level should be and where it should be when you fill it properly, all right? Chuck and I will be happy to show. We love the hands-on demo. This is actually a good topic.
Yeah.
A lot of people are uncomfortable but don't realize that you check the oil with the engine running on a C8.
Yes, you do. And the temperature has to be between 170 and 175 degrees.
That's all your eyes were looking. He's right now looking down over here, and she's at 158, so we're not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet.
Okay.
Let it run. The question was, where should it be on the dipstick?
Okay.
And if you look, it's kind of hard to see, but from here to here are hash marks, from this dot to this dot.
Okay.
Okay. GM says anywhere in this hash marks is safe. When I'm done with them, I like to put them as close to this top mark as I can because that's full to me. But they say anywhere in this hash mark is safe. I would rather it be on the upper safer side than the lower safer side.
Right.
I've noticed on these things, it says they take 7.5 quarts supposedly. If they come in hot, boiling hot, and I drop the drain plug out of it, it seems to take a lot more oil out of them than when they're cold.
Oh.
So I end up usually putting almost 8 quarts back in them to fill them up.
And no, guys, I haven't put my engine cover on yet.
Not yet.
I'm waiting for the seal and the new grommets and all that kind of stuff from Rapid Rev and Paragon, and we'll show that off for you guys. Absolutely.
So right now we're just going to let her sit here and idle until she gets between 170 and 175 degrees.
All right, 165, we're getting there. While we're waiting for that to heat up, when I was talking about the track wrap earlier, I'm going to put it down in this area. I have no coverage down here, which I should. I've got clear bra and so forth on the front end of the car, the fenders and that. But I'm going to put track wrap here. Even though this is covered up here, I'm still going to cover up headlights and cover up key parts of the front nose, mirrors, that kind of stuff. That's where it's going to help. And it doesn't have to be pretty. You just put that crap on and it's good and it comes right off.
Cover up the grill area.
I'm not going to... No.
Just checking to make sure.
You know what I don't have though? Is I need to get stuff back in here. Because remember when you put the Blue Attack air filter on, and I said, there's a leaf in there. It's like, how the heck did that get in there? He goes, well, got in through there. What do you think?
Right.
Yeah. 167.
We're at 172.
We're at 172.
So unlike all the previous model years, you do not shut the car off. You leave the car idling. That's how you're going to check the oil.
I know, that still kind of freaks me out.
Sure. Back over, pull the dipstick out, wipe it off, and stick it back in there and see where we're at. If you look here, Rick's is a little above, and I think that's because he's sitting here on this slope. It's right there.
Okay, so I'm good.
Yeah, you're good. But the car's sitting at an angle because of the way you got it parked here.
And the oil's not too dirty.
No.
I know you and I looked at this the other day talking about today's Tech Tuesday, and we pulled one out, a brand new off, and it was so clear
Yeah,
you couldn't see anything. You go, Rick, this is going to be a tough demo on Tuesday. You can't see it. I said, well, we use my car because I know my oil is getting close to needing to be changed.
So that one showed just a little over full, but like I said, the way the car's sitting on this angle is why. Okay. So it's probably, if it was level, it would, and you got to check it level, not sitting on any kind of up, down, decline, but it probably would have been right on the money.
Bruno, hopefully that helps you, sir, and we did get your picture. That'll be in the ride segment at the end of today's video. All right, boss.
All right, this one comes from Steve. Says, hi Rick, love your tube videos. I was planning on changing the transmission filter about 4,000 miles just to be safe, but someone on one of the forums says you need to do a process specified GM. Am I wrong in just wanting to swap out the filter? You're not wrong. I mean, but GM likes them to go to around 7,500 miles, not to exceed 7,500 miles, because it's a dual clutch transmission. So the debris and stuff that this filter is catching is actually clutch material from the dual clutch assembly. So that's why they want them changed out at least before 7,500. If you want to do it sooner, you're more than welcome to. Just remember, you're only going to get one free from GM. After that, you're going to have to pay for them. So
I know all about that.
Yes, you do.
I know, you'll be doing another one when I get back. Here's the other thing. Underneath that car, Chuck, I know that they have stuff if you wanted to do just an oil change.
Correct.
A guy that has the ability to do that in the setup at his home, he could do that. But to change out the DCT filter, you got to take off some panels and so forth.
Yeah, the shear plate has to come off to get to the filter.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And then those bolts, if I remember correctly, when they go back in, those are a one-time use only bolts that actually hold the
filter
housing.
housing. Yes.
On the housing.
Yeah.
And you guys got to remember, you got to top off the transmission fluid.
Correct.
It's even more difficult if you got the 2 extra quarts in there. So it's not just changing the filter.
Correct.
I was just pausing for a second. I didn't know if the star of the show or the master technician would like to expand on it. Just, all I got was correct.
I've obviously taught you well, Pataskala.
Yeah. Correct. Moving on. Tech Tuesday emails. Thank you for that, guys. Appreciate you watching and engaging and making comments after the videos. This one comes from, this is from Steve, and our customer Steve from Kansas. Rick and Chuck, twice now, my 21 C8 infotainment screen has gone blank upon startup. Both times were during long drives where I made a quick stop, got back in the car, and then the screen did not come back on. I didn't find anything in the manual about this. Did I turn it off? I don't know. Please advise. Could this fall into the same thing that we did before with the main dash screen where the speedometer is? Putting the car to sleep, do you think that would be advisable too?
Probably.
The same thing.
Yeah.
We've talked about that a lot of times, and we've also talked about this is a computer on wheels, and there's so many things going on. So if you made a quick stop and maybe got back in the car real quick, started up and took off, didn't give it a chance for everything to start communicating. So open the door, let the car go to sleep. Takes about 15 minutes, no more than that. Close the door, reopen it, everything should fire back up. That's happened to me a couple of times too. So I think it's just more of a communication glitch than anything.
Sure.
I don't think you've done anything wrong. I think that's just, there's so much crap on this car. You got to give it a chance to fire up.
Absolutely. I mean, it's to the point GM had to come up with a new communication platform for all the electronics in this new C8. So,
Correct.
correct. Okay, this one comes from Dale. Says, love Tech Tuesday. You guys do a great job. Thank you. I own a 2022 C8 with 300 miles. Probably meant to be 3,000 because I see the comma. You mentioned in the last show that GM now has Radiator Guards available. I only want to have the parts and service done by my dealer. I asked my service department rep about them. They could not find the part number. Could you help me with the part number process? They need to get the guards.
And there might be a little confusion on that. There's a company, and I apologize off the top of my head, I don't know who it is. There's a number of companies selling basically the same product. GM has put their stamp of approval on that product through some of these aftermarket companies, and that's essentially why people are thinking, oh, it's an authorized GM accessory. It is an accessory. Once they put the stamp of approval on it, it's all good to go. I don't think there's really any variance in anything. You've put on a number of different ones.
A number of different ones, yes.
They're all pretty much the same thing. So that's what it is. GM's authorized someone to sell that, to put on Corvette. Beyond that, we don't really have any other information. We don't have a part number internally for that.
Right.
Just check and see whoever you're working with, in the aftermarket companies out there. I mean, Paragon's one. Is yours a GM authorized accessory? You've put a number of Paragon ones on, and actually, I think you told me off camera one time, he says, hey, Rick, I put a bunch of these on. He goes, they're a little more work. He goes, but I like the ones from Paragon. I think they go on better, and they're going to stay a little bit stronger.
Yes.
Am I
absolutely
correct?
No, you're absolutely correct. Yes.
I mean, like, as you put on a ton of them. So,
yeah.
That's just a personal preference.
All right, and the second part of his question is, at 2,000 miles, I made the mistake of thinking when the driver's information center is on maintenance, the wrench symbol on the display means maintenance is needed. Brought it into the dealer, and they recommended that I do the 7,500 mile oil change and DTC filter. Unfortunately, I followed their advice. My question is, do you think I should do it again at 7,500 miles? 2,000 miles was way early. Like I said, GM's wanting to catch a lot of the assembly lube and the clutch material before the first 7,500 miles. Do I think it's probably a good idea to have it done at 7,500? Probably. I probably would, just to be safe.
Yeah. They still haven't, that one thing I've been wanting is that filter update, that filter life. I mean, you get the oil life, you get the transmission fluid life, but in 23s you get the filter life. Man, I wish that, we get these downloads. Please give me the download for the filter life for guys that do autocrossing or tracking. you have to do your change of the filter a lot more frequently. In his situation, I'm not sure how he drives a car, but yeah.
Question.
Yes.
This transmission filter life, which filter are they looking at?
Good.
Is it the DTC filter or the one?
I started to laugh there because of the look on your face, but no, it actually is the DCT filter.
That's
the one they're looking at.
Okay.
Yes.
Because transmission has 2 filters in it.
Correct, which we're going to see soon on my car.
Oh, yeah.
I know, I keep getting up there miles-wise and stuff, so yeah, we're going to do that whole thing and share that with you on the channel, letting you know there's really a lot more involved in maintaining this transmission. That's really important. That's kind of what we're talking about right now. So in his situation, you say, yeah, probably.
I probably would, just for peace of mind.
You know, let's just go back to and just kind of talk about the C8 maintenance, because it is confusing. I talk about it a lot at delivery. You do get, that was air compressor. Okay, so with a new purchase, you get that first service that Chuck and I talk about so often. Question is, when do you do it? A lot depends on a number of factors. Number one, how you drive the car, but also look at that oil life percentage. If the oil life percentage, and this has been happening a lot too, and this is why they extended it to 2 years, because most Corvette clients don't drive 7,500 miles in a year, and that's a shame. You know, your fault. But I'm getting a lot of people, hey, I've had my car for a year, my oil life is at 18 or 20%, but I've only got 2,000 miles or 3,000 miles.
Right.
And Chuck and I have also recommended many times changing just the oil on you. Pay for that. Couple $100 or so.
Right.
Do the oil, but save that first service. But it's important to do it, as Chuck says, before the 7,500 or before the 2-year anniversary, because then you're going to get a new DCT filter, top off of the fluid, and you're going to get a new oil change. So it's hard to determine that. So that's one factor. So up to 2 years, up to 7,500 miles, unless you're doing autocross, unless you're doing tracking, and then just kind of do you in that regard. You've got a number of ways that you can do that, but it is important to monitor this. This is going to be a more frequently maintenance car, even though less than other mid-engines out there, but more than what we're used to in previous generations of Corvette.
Absolutely. And the other important factor is, when you go in to have that DTC filter changed, if you had the 2 extra liters added, you need to make sure you tell the service advisor, hey, before your guy pulls the plug and dumps my 2 extra liters out, make him aware I've already got the 2 extra liters in it.
Yeah.
Because that's what will happen. Because when you put the 2 extra liters in, you're now 2 liters above what was the fill plug. So we need to know that when we service the vehicle.
Yeah, and for those of you that watch on a regular basis, you're like, hey, you guys have talked about this already. We're going to continue to talk about it as more cars get into the marketplace, as more cars start clicking on the clock, and you've had it for a year, 2 years. It's important to know this stuff so you actually have good usage out of your car, you get good longevity out of the car. But I say drive it.
Absolutely.
These guys, 2,000 miles in a year. Come on, man. I thought we were well past that. All right, I got one more here, and I think Chuck's got one more. This comes from Dean. Rick and Chuck, I got a 23 Z51 option coupe. Considering having the brake pads changed to reduce the amount of brake dust. Have your customers asked for this? Yes, they have. If so, what pads do you recommend? I'm planning on having the service done at my dealership. Definitely have it done at your dealership. I don't have a specific pad to recommend just yet. I know Paragon Performance, I'm going to be leaning on Corey and the staff, because I need to get new pads. I actually wish I had them for the Pittsburgh race that I'm attending right now as you're watching this video. They'll help in better braking, more performance driving, and reduce the brake dust. But you can call the guys at Paragon Performance, and they'll advise you based on your driving style what you got to do. Here's the other thing too, Chuck, when it comes to brakes and C8, where at what point do they have to disconnect the battery before they start playing around with this brake system?
That's only if they're opening up the electronics of the bleeding.
Okay.
Anytime they open up the hydraulic system, first thing you need to do is disconnect the battery.
Okay, so you don't have to do that with the pads?
No.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Hopefully that helps you. Good luck. Seriously, call Corey directly, tell him I sent you. They'll give you real good advice. They do some performance driving. They offer a lot of great products for C7, for C8. Lean on them to point you in the right direction. All right, Chuck, you got one more?
I've got one more.
Sorry to interrupt you, Chuck, but I do have a tip for our C7 friends out there. Say you get into your C7 Corvette, but your key fob doesn't have enough power to start the car. What do? You actually have a guaranteed start, even with a dead key fob battery. But did you know with a dead key fob, you're still guaranteed one start in case of an emergency? So take your key fob with the label side up like this, the slot in the right-hand side of your steering column. Put the key fob in and push it in as far as you can. Then put your foot on the brake. Then push your start button. Then get to the dealership. Get yourself a battery.
Once again, I have one more. This one comes from Tom. It says, I love it. I'm an avid track driver with the C8 Z51, fellow C8 trackers. have a non-Z51 C8. I thought the non-Z51s were not built for the track. I assume he has the 2 added liters of DTC fluid and the brake air dams. It is my understanding that the non-Z51 do not have the additional cooling system nor enhanced braking. Is this guy in greater jeopardy of catastrophe on the track? The tracking involved is a very circuit road course. That's your area there, Mr. Track.
Okay, so part of what he said is correct. Non-Z51s, as your boy Ricky has, is not supposed to be on the track. And if you read the track PDF, I'll put a link down below in the description. It talks about competitive driving. What I'm doing today at Pit Race is going to be pushing the car to its paces more than I ever have. And there'll be a couple of stretches that I'll do 140, and I think I can hit 150. I don't have the brake pads. I wish I had the brake pads. I don't have the cooling, so I don't have to watch that stuff very closely. I think you have to really decide and determine how you're driving and tracking. Competition stuff, flat out competition, yeah, the non-Z51 is not the car. I'm going to be doing what's called, I think this is a fair statement, spirited driving.
Sure.
You know, I mean, there's going to be other guys on the track. It'll be a point pass type of thing, and I'm going to be pushing the car hard. But I mean, if I can't drive that car 150 miles an hour, what the hell's the point?
Well, exactly.
You know, but I mean, yeah. I do have to monitor, you know, tire pressure, you know, oil temp, you know, coolant temp, that kind of stuff. But it's the competition driving and what they're talking about is where they don't want Z51 on the track. So I've done a lot of low speed competition stuff. That's great. I mean, your max speeds are usually 60, 65 miles an hour. That's a ton of fun in autocross. This thing at Pit Race I keep referring to, and I can't wait to show you the footage. I hope I do a good job for you guys. It's all I can say is I get so geeked up on it driving this car and driving the car on the track. And back in your day, you did some tracking, autocrossing and stuff.
Absolutely.
And it's so much fun. It's so exhilarating to me driving this car. I really become more connected with this car. I really appreciate what this car is all about. And that's where you find out is on the track. So whatever you do, just be cautious. Know your limitations in the event that you're participating, I guess would be my best recommendation. Also too, like for the scenario that I'm driving today, it's not low speed autocross. I did buy track insurance. It's important to do that too.
Well, it don't matter if you have a track car or a non-track car. The best thing you can do is not push yourself or the car beyond its limits.
Well, that's what they
when
taught
trouble
us.
happens.
They taught us that at Spring Mountain.
Yes.
You know, they said, here, you do you. Don't feel like you got to keep up with this guy or that guy.
Right.
Drive whatever you're comfortable. If you wanted to drive around that track at 30 miles an hour, it kind of hold things up a little bit, but they'd let you do it so you were comfortable.
Yep.
It's not all about trying to keep up with that next guy. You do you. Drive within your means. Appreciate the limitations of the car. Yeah.
And just have fun.
And have fun, absolutely. Here's something real fun before we show your beautiful rides. I want to thank my friend Steve. Steve Vertuno, you were a good dude, man, and I'm jealous that I didn't go to Indianapolis for the latest Chevrolet training. Here's a clip right now, and wait for it all. You're gonna hear some revs. 70th anniversary Z06 at the Indy 500. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, and comment down below. Chuck and I look forward to seeing you guys next week on Tech Tuesday.
Too young, and I didn't understand that you were the one, and I can't wait to see you again. Hindsight is fleeting when your heart's bleeding and all you can see is red. Till you discover it is within each other to forgive and make amends. If I had known then what I know now, I wouldn't have said what I said. I took the long road, thought I'd be better on my own. Sometimes what's right is wrong instead. 'Cause I was too young and I didn't understand that you were the one. And I can't wait to see you again. Oh, I can't wait, I can't wait, I can't wait. 'Cause I was too young and I didn't understand that you